There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who can enter a restaurant alone, order a 3-course meal and devour the food. Then there are those who would rather starve than face the judgment of a waiter asking them, "Oh, table for one?" But then we have an ambassador of the first kind and a savior for the second kind today on Hindustan Times. It's Nishi Singh, the creator of Table for One, a community that is making solo dates less awkward and more normal.
I went to a bar alone in Delhi and someone asked if I'd been stood up, so now I'm testing places I can actually sit in alone. I hated Delhi for the first 2 years of living here. I thought it was loud, aggressive, a city perpetually performing for itself. But since starting this page, I've realised there's another side to Delhi, a quieter one, with people who go out just to sit with their thoughts for a while, who don't need to be seen to enjoy themselves, who lower their voices instead of speaking over each other, who know how to share a space with consideration for others. That Delhi exists, under all the noise.
Nishi, thank you for joining us this time on Table for Two.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've written a little about this, that the first reception that you had in Delhi was not exactly the way you had planned. It was very different from where you were coming from, which is Bangalore. So now that you have, in a way, carved your space in this city and people are now recognizing you not just in cafes and on the streets, how does it feel?
Oh, it's a strange feeling. I'm not sure I'm going to get used to that anytime soon, people recognizing me. But apart from that, it's really nice. It's nice to have settled into the space finally. This is what I was yearning for pretty much 2 years. So the fact that it's come a little bit late, but in the way it has, I'm not complaining.
Absolutely. Also, you've sort of had a very interesting journey so far. You were born in Calcutta, but when you were about 1 year old, you moved to London, and then that's where you spent most of your life before moving to India and having this grand homecoming. And you did not exactly receive the kind of reception you were expecting from your family. So how has the journey been? And also sort of how has your perception about India evolved over the last few years?
Well, I mean, firstly, my family, I think at first they couldn't understand why I would make a move like that. My dad worked extremely hard to move us away from some of the hardships that he faced. So, for example, he didn't go to school until he was 11 years old and then somehow managed to make it into IIT Kharagpur. So, you know, he had quite an intense journey himself, and to see his eldest daughter sort of go backwards as he saw it, it was challenging. But I think over the years now, as I've settled in to the country as well, he started to very much come on board. But yeah, my experience of Delhi has really shifted. So Bangalore was very comfortable. It felt very similar to what I'm used to in London. But Delhi was a different ball game. But now I think with the community and the sort of support that I've received, and mostly seeing that there's other people that like to do a similar thing to me, which isn't necessarily obvious when you first look at Delhi. That's been really warm and has really changed my perception of the city.
So from that to that one evening that you have referred to a lot of times in Chatterhouse, where you were dining alone, minding your own business, probably sipping on your favorite cocktail, and then random men came to you and asked you, "Oh, have you been stood up?" What was your response and how did you process that?
I was just in the smoking area and they heard my accent, so we started talking. And as we were talking, they said that they thought I'd been stood up. So that really shocked me because I was like, I never imagined that I would be perceived in that way. So it taught me a lot about the culture in the city around going out alone and how people feel about it for themselves and how they perceive others who are doing it.
You have spent a lot of your years in the UK. When you have to compare, is this something that's restrictive to India, this kind of culture?
I mean, I've never experienced any sort of judgment outside of India for going out alone. Yeah, so it's very different to how things would be in the UK. I like to say, I mean, I'd have to throw something at someone 3 times before they looked in my way. So yeah, it's definitely different in India to how it is in the UK. But also, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's a lot of our own insecurities about going out alone that we project on the city. So my experience actually going out alone in Delhi I haven't really met anyone that's really sort of been like, "What are you doing?" or "Why are you here?" or waiters that have given me dirty looks. I think everyone sort of gets it now.
And if not everyone, at least your community does, because you have created this community, which is, by the way, how many numbers in counting?
Well, Table for One is now 36,000 people.
Wow.
Table for One Club, the sort of private community space, is at now 4,500.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, all you're doing.
Thank you.
And in a city that you thought wasn't possible in many ways, but here you are with your own community. And a lot of times, even I have faced it personally, where I would dine out alone. I do get those eyes. Sometimes it's of pity, sometimes it's of confusion. Where do you think this is like seeding from?
I don't know. I think all of us are like, inherently, we like spending time around other people. So there requires some sort of reset at some point to take the opportunity to go out alone, to then realize that it's something you might enjoy doing, or like the freedom that comes with that. So I think a lot of people just haven't had that sort of spark yet, so they can't understand until they've experienced it themselves. And a lot of the people that reach out to me say that, there's a few common threads, but one is that they've spent some time abroad and they've come back to India and then realized that perhaps there's some things that they've had the freedom to do abroad that they don't have here. So yeah, I just think it requires a moment to get it started. But I get why people don't understand that, because for quite a long time I needed people everywhere I went as well.
Yeah, makes sense. And speaking of that moment, especially because you communicate with so many of those kind of people where there is probably willingness to go out and do their own thing and be at peace with their own company, what would you think you would want to tell the people who are kind of struggling with it?
Ooh, it's interesting. Honestly, I think you just got to take the leap. There are so many things in life that require a leap of faith. This is just a small one to practice for the bigger things. But I think the moment that people go out for the first time, then they realize that it's actually not that bad. And then they want to do it again.
To become like the devil's advocate a little bit, what would you say to those kind of people who would say that our society is anyway becoming extremely lonely in general, thanks to social media and otherwise also our lifestyle? And then we kind of add it with, oh, you can go and dine out on your own, and let's not judge that. And let's not have any kind of sort of judgments, but people are becoming even more lonely that way. How would you counter that?
I think, firstly, there's a big difference between loneliness and solitude. When I go out alone, it's not because I don't have anyone to go with. It's because I'm looking for a particular experience. I'm looking to enjoy my own company. And also, I think going out alone makes you a lot more receptive to the world. When you go out as a group, you're very consumed by the people you're already with. You're already sharing an experience. Whereas I find when I go out alone is actually when I talk to new people. So I don't see it as us retreating further into loneliness. I see it as an opportunity to actually be more social. So yeah, I've never seen it as a lonely thing to do at all.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And this community that you have, like, take us through it. If there is an event, how does it look like?
So everyone comes alone.
Yeah.
And there's not really much structure to it. There's not really much structure to it at all.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think the kind of people that come to my page already resonate a lot with the sort of content that I create. And that's very different perhaps to other stuff on in the city at the moment. So that's already kind of a really strong self-filter. And so the kind of people that come through that and then fill out an application form and tell me how excited they are to spend the evening talking to new people, like, you can tell very quickly who really wants to be there. So they are limited events, unfortunately. I'm trying to keep them relatively intimate so that people actually get a chance to talk to each other. But yeah, people just come and they start talking and then they keep talking and then they leave with friends, and it's amazing.
Great. Kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
With this community going so strong, and it's still like a fresh new idea that you have, in a way, this is your brainchild, of course. I bet it gets overwhelming for you as well. How are you handling that?
I'm not really sleeping at the moment. I do need to hire someone for sure because there's a lot going on. yeah, it's all just happened so quickly. I haven't really had a chance even to stop and figure out how to manage it. So next week I'm going to have a sort of week off in the UK. So I think I'll probably, just
But this
figure
will
out
still
how
be
to
on your
manage it
to-do
all.
list.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'll spend a few days like figuring out how to delegate some of it.
Yeah. And not to put more pressure on you, but where do you see this going? What is your goal? What is your vision with this?
Honestly, I didn't have much of a plan when I started this. I've never been much of a planner. I'm just using what people are telling me and also my own intuition to figure out what to do next. So the way it's going, by this time next year, I think we'll have probably another video waiting to happen, but until then, no idea.
And we're looking forward to that.
Oh, well.
All right. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you so much
Cheers.
for
I
having me.
wish you the best.
Cheers.